All right, I am back. Where are we at? Okay, guys, they booted me out. They gave me the boot. I was telling too much truth. I was telling too much truth, and they cut me out. Oh my goodness! And I don't like to leave and not say bye. I was telling too much truth. So if you guys are just getting back on this live, hey honey, if you guys are just getting back on this live, did you watch my live? You coming to criticize my husband? Be trying to shut your damn mouth. You probably damn much. But I don't like to leave a conversation without finishing the conversation and saying goodbye. My point is, if you are a young creative, own O W. I don't know how to make it in your content, because that's gonna make all of the difference in the world. Right, Mark? I was giving y'all that good word and they cut me out. Mission, what's up, Mission Smith? You guys, please follow Coattail Entertainment, Mission Smith, Ro Dazon, Roedayzon. Mission is Mizz Mission, Mizzon. These are young creatives that are doing the damn thing in the space of content creation. They're dope. They're amazing. They're my young little brothers in Detroit. So please be sure to follow them. Okay, so I'm gonna get off of this soapbox that I was on, talking about, the industry and the Spotify streams and how we don't necessarily get credit for any of that stuff. But it's a very important conversation for young creatives to have and to listen to. And in fact, I'm gonna start sharing a lot more information about the mistakes that I made. And I think a lot of people learn from that. I think a lot of people learn when you are unafraid to share um, your mistakes, the things that you have done that you either regret or wish that you had done better. It's very important. So I want to share my mistakes. I don't mind. I want to share my little war wounds. I want people to know that you can recover. You can restore your business. You can hit rock bottom, and you can build a solid foundation from the bottom up, which is why From the Bottom Up is such an important initiative for me. I'm sorry I had to switch myself around because I was backwards. Um, does anyone keep spreading the good information you do? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to keep spreading because, you just not enough people, I think, in this industry. And I'm not criticizing anybody and what they do with their platform, because your platform is your platform. But not enough people in this industry are willing to be transparent and share, our truths. Everybody want to pretend like everything is good and we all rich bitches, and, um, everything is great. And in fact, it's not, because you look at a lot of the shows that you watch on TV, I don't think one of them is owned by a person of color. Not one. Oh, except for the stuff that Tyler Perry does, perhaps. But and of course film and stuff. But reality TV, which is heavily led by African American people, they don't own that, right? So everybody who's telling you how bad they are and how dope they are and how much of this they got and how much of that, if they don't own the platforms they are on, then it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. I thank God that I co-own with Queen Latifah and Flavor Unit, From the Bottom Up, the series. So we may not have seen millions and millions of viewers, but there's ownership in that. The films and the TV shows that I create, I own, right? And you have to, or co-own at least. You have to have a small percentage of ownership of everything, or you end up like me, 27 years later going on, and you realize you got almost 100 million Spotify streams. And because you don't own the masters to your vocals, again, you get your publisher share, you get your writer share, you get your performance royalties from the pros. That's ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, all of those companies that monitor how your records are played and how often they're played. But a lot of people aren't listening to traditional radio or terrestrial radio anymore. Most people are listening to streaming and Spotify and Tidal and YouTube. I looked up, I'm like, damn, I look at the YouTube for Say It, and I'm like, damn, that's 75 million, almost 200 million views of the video on YouTube. That's advertising. But we don't know that because we're not taught to think long term. And that is nobody's fault but ours. Let me be clear that I'm not pointing the finger or blaming anybody, because if somebody says, what do you want for dinner? You got a choice between chicken, steak, or fish. If you choose one of those three, then that's what you're having for dinner. You can't later say, I ate the chicken and I didn't like it, so I shouldn't have to be held to, digest this because I ate it and I didn't like it. But somebody offered you chicken, fish, steak. Now, if you wanted lamb, or if you wanted chicken, fish, and steak that you wanted to prepare yourself and spend the expenses of putting it together and frying it and cooking it and put the work into preparing it, then you have an ownership stake in it. You own the chicken, fish, or steak that you cooked. If you just eat what somebody is serving you, you can't later decide that you want something different. So I say all that to say it is our responsibility to let our youth know that if you eat this chicken, this fish, or this steak that they offer you, and you just eat it and you let them be the people that created it and cooked it and they own it and it's theirs, you can't come back and complain about this shit later. So you really need to think about whether or not you're willing to do the work and the sweat of preparing this meal your damn self. So at least you could say you cooked it, you prepared it, this is your shit, you did it, and this is how it ended up. I know that was a real hood analogy, but sometimes people like me needed to be broken down as simple as possible. And that is it. If you're eating off somebody else's plate, if you're sitting at somebody else's table, if you're consuming the food that somebody else has cooked for you, it may be scrumptious at the time that you eat it, but you don't own shit. And if you don't own the table or own a seat at the table, ain't nothing you can really say about it. There's nothing you can do except shut the hell up and eat. Like Ike said, eat the cake and a may. That's all you can do. So I'm not saying this to complain. I am saying this to inform. Sabrina Horton. Y'all listen. Follow Sabrina Horton at ZABRINAHORTON. Sister in the journey to educate, inform, and empower. She said, from this moment on, we have to pivot. Exactly. Period. The pivot is everything. My husband and I had that conversation. All of it is about the pivot. It's time to go in a different direction. It's time to change what we have historically done. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And it is time for us to not do that shit. Period. It's time for the pivot. You said it best. Does anybody have any questions from me about entertainment? My experience during Brownstone, like I was answering the question about Michael Jackson. Michael was not in the studio with us saying, hey, sing it like this. We were given the freedom to create our own content. We were given the blessing of having his blessing on the content that we created. And I do remember the conversation that I had. I think I just posted a picture of the time we were having this conversation. And I, was like, thank you for giving us a deal. I'm a little nervous about making sure that we're able to deliver. And Michael was like, don't be nervous. You're signed to my label because you're great. Be great. Right. And then Jerry Greenberg, who was also in the picture, who's the person who actually signed us and was like, oh my God, Michael, these girls are amazing. You got to give them a record deal to your record label, whatever. Jerry said to me once, we got into okay, I'm about to give y'all some brownstone tea. So Maxie and I got into a really big fight back in the day. Like we was going at it, right? And it was about something so silly and so trivial. Me and Maxie sisters, best friends. It is what it is. But Maxie probably laughing in heaven right now. We were staying at this big, fabulous, speaking of recouping, right? We were staying at this fabulous 2 bedroom condo. Come in, this fabulous 2 bedroom condo. Hi, buddy. I'm almost finished, right? Like how you did Zoom school. I'm doing a IG live. You okay? Did you have a good nap? You slept for a long time. Okay. I'm going to be done in a second, all right? All right. Close my door. I'm telling the story you don't need to hear. Beat it. Okay, y'all. So me and Maxie got into this really big thing, right? And I will never forget that we came back to LA. We were staying in this big fabulous, Park Avenue penthouse place, whatever. Talk about recoup. When I tell these young kids about recouping your money, that's why. Before I finish telling y'all this whole story, let me say this before I forget because I'm old. The car services, the meetings at fancy restaurants, the wardrobe, the marketing, the promo, all of that money goes into a pot that has to be recouped. So when you do 100 million plus streams on Spotify and you don't get a check from it, from your performances or your master recordings, it's because of the penthouse that me and Maxie got into this argument in, and all of those other things that unfortunately record labels don't tell you. Hey, when you turn 50 and you see you got 100 million streams and you ain't got no money yet, it's because of that. So that's why I'm not blaming the label. I'm blaming the lack of information and education that was available to us at the time that we did the deal, right? And Jerry said, take a taxi, start walking. Jerry told us, but we wanted a car service because who wants to walk around in New York? So we had a Carmel, whatever them car services was, we had a bill. Y'all know if y'all in New York before Uber, there were car services and we had them everywhere. We go to the grocery store, let's take car service. So I digress. We get back home after living off the fat of the land in New York City, recording this album. And Jerry's like, yeah, I heard you guys, got into a really big argument and you weren't talking to each other and whatever. And we're like, yeah, because, something trivial. I'm put why we got into the argument in the book and in the movie. You guys will see that when we do it. But he said, I signed you because I know that you have what it takes to be around for many years to come, like Coca-Cola. You want to always act accordingly. You want to be the group that 50 years from now, and this is a conversation that we had with Jerry Greenberg in his office after we was like on some BS. He said, you want to be around for 50 years and be proud of what you do, and you don't want to let something trivial get in the way of your success. It is very important that you act like ladies. It is very important that so we went through this whole artist development process. We went through this process of learning how to speak in interviews. We went through this process of understanding what not to say and when to say it, just because we were representing the biggest entertainer on the face of the earth at the time, which he still is, Michael Jackson. So there was something called artist development that was happening then. And it's something that I think is out the window with a lot of artists today. And I want to start helping young, aspiring entertainers understand the importance of knowing the contracts that you're signing and what they mean. So you're not overspending. So 50 years later, when you got a hit record that gets hundreds of millions of spins, you don't get a check. I know y'all notice I keep saying that because it's just in my head like, damn, I can't believe we got that many spins on Spotify and we don't get no master recording royalties, but that's another thing. Knowing what the different royalties are, knowing the difference between a master recording royalty and a writer's share and a publisher's share, and just understanding all of that so that we can start building generational wealth in our communities. It doesn't mean that the labels and those people are going to make anything less. It just means that you're going to be able to contribute sooner to those earnings than me. Because there's some clause that says after 30 something years, 35 years, you can get your master's back. I still got another 10 years of some odd years before that happens. And, just like with R&B Divas, I didn't know I had to own that R&B Divas brand. Now I'm attached to it forever. I'm always going to get a check, but I can't determine what happens or couldn't determine what happens with that brand because I didn't own it. Someone else owned it. Someone else put the resources into it. And I don't regret anything in my life because everything I've done and everything I've been has led me to where I am today. But I do definitely wish that somebody was around to talk to me like I'm talking to y'all. Right. And it's not just even in entertainment. It's in anything that you do. Right. You could have a company that it becomes a clothing company that becomes hugely successful, and a company might want to buy it. A Fashion Nova might want to buy your shit, or somebody else might want own your stuff. Oprah Winfrey, say what you want to say. Oprah Winfrey Network, OWN, that should be all you. There it is. She's telling us. You ride through Hollywood, you see it. Own Oprah Winfrey Network. So I'm always pushing for ownership. Always pushing for ownership. I got a green screen. Yes, I do. I can change my green screen around. I can do all kind of stuff, right? Y'all like, oh, you from home doing your green screen? I am. So we're coming back with new episodes of She Speaks Live. We're doing She Sings Live. I told you guys, if you know some singers, then let them know. I have been on this thing for a long time, so my ass is gonna figure out a way to get off. But I just, when it's in my heart and it's in my spirit and God gives it to me, I just feel like I need to give it to y'all because you know, we all we got, right? We are all we got. And it's not a bad thing to say that white people handle their business a lot better than we do sometimes because they have more access to resources that educate them and inform them on how to do it. We don't know about setting up living trusts. We do now. We didn't know about setting up, I didn't know I could pay life insurance for 15 years and then go through a hard time and miss a couple of payments and lose everything. Because you're like, oh, I can just get it back no, you can't. So you could pay into something for 15, 20 years, and then you look up and you be like, well, damn, well, what happened? And then you go and then you get new life insurance, but you older now. So all of those savings and things that you put into what you were doing are now just, wasted money. Or not wasted money. It helped put money in somebody's pocket. It paid for somebody something. But for us, we so often lose sight of those things because we're not taught at an early age. My mom was dope. My daddy was dope. They bought real estate. My mom did real estate. My mom was a hustler. My mom did so much wonderful, amazing stuff. And some things she told me and I just didn't listen. And some things she didn't tell me because she just didn't know. Because my grandfather built the house with his hands, built the house they lived in. But my grandfather couldn't tell us how to set up trust and set up, it's just not something we are oftentimes taught or informed on. So my talkative, long-winded ass wants to share all of that information as it comes because we just don't know. Right. And when you see me talking about this stuff, it's not me complaining about it. I'm not on social media telling y'all about all the shit that's happened to me because I want somebody to feel sorry for me. Because if you know me, feel sorry my ass. Show me how to get some money. I don't need nobody feeling sorry for me. I need somebody to educate me on some shit I don't know about how to get to the bag and to get to the bag in a way that allows me to own it forever so I can pass it down. So when I did She Speaks Live, which is what you're watching right now, She Speaks Live, when I do stuff like that, and I put my grandson down as a owner of the She Speaks Live brand, and I put him down as an executive producer, do I expect a 5-year-old to be on set? Although he could be on set directing me to do shit and telling me I don't expect that. What I expect is that he understands what Nana has worked her ass off to develop for the last 25 years. He understands. I got everything stacked up. This person got a copy of it. That person got it. This person got it, and bunch burying them in a bunch of different places. So when the time comes and this kid gets to the point where he understands what it means to have legacy and what it means to have ownership of something, it's his. It's there. We have to start thinking about our kids in the future. Speaking of thinking about our kids in the future, I'm not going to let y'all get away from this live without talking once again about this election. You guys, I know it is boring. I know I'm about to start losing people. Vote, because elections matter. Like I said before I got cut off, the union, SAG, AFTRA, American Federation of Musicians, that looks out for us. The reason I'm able to qualify for medical insurance and health insurance and stuff like that is because they demanded that even though I'm not getting paid any mechanical royalties or any earnings from Spotify or any earnings from non-interactive or I'm sorry, is it non-interactive? I'm learning this new language. But basically Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Tidal. I'm gonna do my homework and I'm gonna get back with y'all, and y'all do y'all homework and get back with me. But there are some areas that get a larger chunk. The labels get a larger chunk of the pie. So I think it's like 50 cents that they get per stream. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And then from that 50 cent, 6 cent goes to the publishers and 6 cent goes to the writers or to the pros and whatever. But it's a very, very small percentage that goes to writers and songwriters on Spotify and these streaming services. Very, very small. 6 cents, pennies go to the artist. Pennies, well, quarters go to the label. So I'm saying this to say the reason voting is important is because the quarters that go to the label, they're requiring, because it was about a vote in a union, the labels to pay towards our health and pension, which means that even if I'm not seeing the money from hundreds of millions of streams in streaming services, I'm at least getting credit for the millions of dollars I'm paying to pay down that unrecouped income. So as I learn, I'm going to share, because these kids got to learn that you running around here being a boss biatch, and you're gonna look up and be old like me and wonder where your money at. And then they're gonna say, well, it went to this, and this, and you still 30 years later unrecouped. That don't even sound right, does it? But it's true. 30 years later, almost 20, 25, 26 years later, still unrecouped. I'm just putting all my business in the street. Because what good does it do me to sit here and marinate and make my TMJ bad by saying me and pretty much all of my friends in the industry are still unrecouped? So we can't participate in the revenue that's coming in from these streaming services, even though our voices are everywhere. And like I said, I have no control over where those harmonies and those voices, I have no control of where they go because I don't own that. I own my publishing and I own my writing, and I got my plaques from Tory Lanez making the record a hit again. But I can't say I don't want my song to be on Tory Lanez rap record because I can't say that. I can't say I don't want my song to be selling crispy chicken. I can't say that. I can't. If somebody decided they wanted to put my song on a commercial for cigarettes, which I'm completely against cigarettes, it ain't shit I can say about it because I don't own it. I know that was dramatic, but that's the real shit. You don't own it. If you don't own it, you can't control it. I can't say I don't want to be on R&B Divas looking like a mad woman. Because guess what? Say it with me, y'all. I don't what? Own it. Now, I gave birth to it. I created it. I put Brownstone together. I paid for the auditions to put the group together. I wrote all the songs that got us the deal. I got stranded in the desert and demanded equality and went and I demand to see the head of this publishing company and went up in there like, hey, here I am, sing, and we got a record deal, but I don't own shit as it relates to the masters of Brownstone's recordings. And I don't own shit as it relates to R&B Divas. I own the fact that I created it. I'm gonna get paid if ever or ever there was another version of it, but I don't own it. Ownership is an important conversation for us to start having with people. All right, let me talk to y'all real quick about this Cardi B thing because somebody keeps trying to post and tag Cardi B in my post about WAP. And I'm deleting it, not because if Cardi B said, what, you don't like my song? Well, she would never say that. I would be like, no, I don't like that one. But I like a lot of the other stuff that she did. But let's talk about it real quick. So I was watching, I got a glimpse of a clip from Fox News where they were playing the video, right? And I was like, Fox News playing the WAP video? What's going on? And they were playing the video because they wanted to make a point of like, oh, this is ratchet and this is what black women are doing. And do you see the snakes and do you see them shaking their asses? And this is what black women are all about. And Bernie and Biden connecting with Cardi. Let me say this. I think it's amazing that Biden had a conversation with Cardi B, not because of WAP. That's not why I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing because Cardi B has how many hundreds of millions of young people, young minds. She has access to all of those people. So kids who would not get actively involved in this election are now seeing Cardi B actively involved in this process. And it's really bringing awareness to it, and I think that's dope. And I also think it's dope that Cardi's going to keep it real, and she going to say it how she say it, the way she say it, even though she was suited and booted. When I saw the clip, she had her little, but she's going to say it the way she needs to say it, and it's going to connect with the people that it needs to connect with. It's not Cardi B's job to raise our kids. You're absolutely right. So everybody who argues, stop hating on Cardi because you're right. It's not her job to raise our kids. It's our own job to raise our children. What my point is about the WAP song is, just like the lady on Fox News used it and took the clip and ran with it, right now we need all hands on deck in terms of the images of who we are and how we're represented to the masses, right? I get it. I'm not telling people to be fake. I'm not telling people to not be who the hell they are. I cuss like a motherfucker. And I be shit, damn, hell, kiss my. I got a bad mouth a lot of times. So people can pull clips from everywhere and be like, see, you're not so prim and proper, because that is not what I'm trying to be. But there's a time and place for everything, is my point. And we can be real and we can communicate in the real way that we communicate. I think what's real speaks to the heart. But sometimes we go too far. And not only that we go too far, sometimes you do shit that you look back on in life, take it from a 50-year-old who's done it quite often, and you go, damn, what the hell was I thinking? Did I really want to say that way? So all I'm saying is, take into account, when you're thinking about longevity, when you're thinking about how that huge platform impacts so many people, take into consideration that there are people who, like they say, what you say can and will be used against you in a court of public of fucking opinion. See, I just used a bad word that I shouldn't have used. I could have said a court of opinion, but something in my spirit said, say the F word. See what I'm saying? But my point is, speak your truth, be who you are, keep it real, but understand we are representing each other. Just like when we watched TV last night and we saw Kamala Harris speak so eloquently. She didn't use none of the cuss words I used. She was pulled up. Her hair was banging. Wasn't her hair banging, y'all? Her hair was banging. And she was smart as a whip. And she was confident. And she did not bash the man in the house now. She just spoke and gave it to us. Let's keep in mind that that's a representation of who we are. That is an image that people who don't understand us will be able to see, that's not a reality show. That's not somebody flipping the table. That's not somebody beating somebody's hand. That is an image of Black women that represents us, women of color, for those of you who have a problem with us calling her Black. That is positive and good and universal, right? So keep that in mind, right? So love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Everybody that said they love me, I love y'all. A present, everybody that's present, I present too. We present. We are here. So to the person that keep trying to act Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, like, look, she don't like WAP. I don't. Cardi, I don't like WAP. But I love She Bad. I love you can cook me if you wanted to. These expensive. I am a Cardi B fan. I like that she is living her life and growing and becoming a stronger, better, more incredible woman as she lives her life and has her experiences. And Meg Thee Stallion too. Although I do want to know who shot her in the feet. I'm not accepting that we're just going to allow this girl to get shot in both her feet and just be like, uh-huh, what happened? What happened? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Does anybody care? I do. I don't want us to live in a world where a Black woman that is that successful and high profile gets shot twice, even if it is in her feet and she okay. And we just like, oh well, too bad. Like, where do they do that at? Like, is that cool? Somebody tell me, am I tripping? Am I doing too much by asking why we just glossed over the fact that Megan Thee Stallion got shot twice and nobody cares? And this is not an indictment on Tory Lanez. But if he did, in fact, shoot her in the feet twice, I want to know. Why do I want to know? Because I am largely responsible for his, well, not largely, partially, the small piece of the success that he has because of my voice, the song I co wrote, our harmonies. We're connected to that. So what if somebody discovered that something foul went down and they didn't want to ever hear that song again because he's just the worst? Not that people would do that. I'm just being dramatic. But y'all understand my point. When you don't own your shit, people can connect you to things that you might not want to be connected to. I.e., I don't want to be connected with nothing, nowhere, no how that has anything to do with somebody gets shot in the feet or any kind of abusive action towards any woman, let alone women of color, when everything is as foul as it is. So I need to know. I need to know who I'm singing with. People act like we are obligated to support everything about any one person, and they act like Megan deserved that happening to her. Yeah, that's just dumb. It's just really ass backwards. You know, you can be Megan Thee Stallion and get shot twice, and nobody says anything about it. Come on, industry. Come on, industry. If Taylor Swift got shot twice, I'm just saying, if Taylor, I'm not wishing that on anybody. Don't take a piece of this and run with it. But if any of the Britney Spears, if this happened to someone this color, they're fine. They would have known who did it that night or by the next morning at the least. I'm not trying to drudge up no whole bunch of stuff that, people are trying to let sleeping dogs lie. I just need to know why Black women are not treated with the same sense of urgency and respect and love and consideration as others. That is all. So I'm tired of listening to myself talk. Hey, Crayola. Hi, honey. I wanted to see how long this thing would go. It looks like it goes for like an hour. Real quick, I want to just remind you guys that I am coming back with new episodes of She Speaks Live. She Speaks Live is a brand that we own. It is for us and it is by us, and it's very important that you support it. We're going to do sketches. Again, I'm going to do Crayola. I almost got my GED, motherfucker, so you can kiss my ass. I'm going to do Vera. You shy. And I got some new characters that I'm creating. Well, I think I'm gonna do Vera. If Tyler says, "Look, don't be putting my stuff on your show because I own it and you don't," it ain't nothing I can say about it. I could probably get away with like Crayola because it's so. Well, I don't know. Shit, they might hit me up like, "Hey, New Line Cinema, whoever that it own this character, so stop playing." But I want to do some parodies. We want to make She Speaks Live a little more, a little funnier, a little lighter. I have a sense of humor, even though I've been so heavy. All right, so I love you guys. I hope that you are taking this in the spirit of me wanting to be a part of Positive Solutions and informing young artists from the perspective of somebody who's been in this industry for a long time and hasn't really made all the best decisions because I was young, dumb, chewing bubble gum. But I'm a grown, smart ass woman today. And on this day, I tell you the most important thing that you can do as a woman, as an entertainer, as a business person, is own your shit. Period. All of it. Own it. We make mistakes. We make bad decisions because we aren't educated. I I ain't gonna go that deep into my business, but y'all, I just wish somebody told me how to manage my money at 23 and 24 and 25. I was here. You want a card? You got a how much? You got a bill at the casino? Okay, yeah. Because I'm 24, 25, 26. We kids. And then you look up and you're like, I owe how much? Nobody's going to talk you through that except for somebody who's experienced the worst part of it and lived to tell. That's it. All right. So She Speaks Live. Log on, register. We start new episodes in September. It's gonna be good. Gonna be a lot of conversations like this, but just not as long because we only got an hour, 55 minutes, some shit like that. Go to noego.tv, register to our YouTube channel, and tell somebody to follow your girl. And go follow. I need y'all to follow as She Speaks Live, at 90s R&B Certified, and at Brownstone Official. So I'm about to get off so y'all can go follow them. I love y'all. Have a great afternoon. I'm coming back tonight because we are going to talk about this DNC speech that our future president, Joe Biden, is about to nail.